and we're on lesson number 4. And today the lesson is it's exciting as well, but it's also pretty simple. We are going to build an design to illustrate tabs. So go ahead and create an artboard of web, which is 19 by 20. Just put it with the standard. And yes, let's start it. I'm gonna have select rectangle. I'm just going to quickly align these. I hope you guys are following the whole series and are excited to continue. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I don't want no borders. Okay, let me have borders just for now. This tutorial is an inspiration of the Pixel website. So we are going to build a website that looks more like Pixel. If you don't know Pixel is a free website where you can get free images, high quality images, and you can use it on your own. It's pretty essential. And I thought of calling it G Photos. Let me have this tool selected. But I don't like the image. Okay, let me have another, because it seems too bright to me. Let me have another overlay. So I add a blur overlay in it. Adding a blur, it's pretty simple. So you select a rectangle or any. I think you can also have it with any kind of shape actually. So you have a rectangle and you select, actually you align, and you just come in, check background blur. I don't want no border, and yeah, you've got the settings over here so that you can define and adjust how much intensity you want on your design. Yeah, this looks dope actually. I like it. Yeah, so yeah, you see, it looks more pretty. It's G Photos. I still want this here, and I want it a bit big, and I want another one, just kind of description, so I'm going to put your world becomes brighter. Yeah, I think this really talks to any sort of creativity. Awesome. So what I'm gonna have down here, I'm going to extend the height of the artboard. If you click on the artboard name, then you get these indicators all around the artboard, so you can actually resize them or resize the artboard. And this horizontal indication, should I say indication, or I think this is marginal indication, I think. it's just to it's the viewport height of the artboard itself. So if you want to increase, you can actually increase the viewport height, or you can actually, yeah, it's just to for you to play around with the height of the artboard. So I'm going to have to increase this, and I'm going to have another rectangle over just down here, because this is going to be the text section where we're going to have a sort of gallery. Oh, but because before I do that, I'm actually forgetting something. I want to have a search box here, because Pixar, they have a really nice. As a matter of fact, I have this. I'm just going to duplicate this, which is the blur rectangle we have overlaid on the image. So I'm just I'm gonna have a border of 2, and I'm going okay, not this. I said border of 2 is this one, and I'm gonna have 2 in size. Now I can have 2. I want all white. Yeah, great. I want all white, and at the intensity of the I think this is cool, but I think I want a blur, kind of, just to keep that contrast, you know. So I'm gonna go to my plugins, and I'm gonna do search. I'll be doing another tutorial on plugins, how you can add plugins to your Adobe XD, which is pretty easy, and it's essential, I believe so, because it just helps you to, you know, get some sort of icons and wireframes and export all sort of issues. I'm gonna have cars here, buildings, just suggestions so that users know they can search on these buildings, and also faces. I like faces. Okay, I'm going to reduce the opacity. Yeah, and I'm also going to make it regular. Oh, it's regular already. So I'm going to reduce the height of this. So it's I'm gonna want to put a little bit up. So good. Should I have the search here or on? Yeah, I think on the right side. Every time I build something that includes search, I always include in the left side. I don't know. Should I have it center? No, left side looks better to me. You can have it on the right side if you want to. But we have, so I'm going to put back the rectangle here, and I'm going to extend it all the way down here. Cool. I'm going to have a border, no border actually, and I want to fill it with some a bit dark. So what I'm gonna have is the text, which is supposedly the tabs, and I have if you saw, let me just revert it. I duplicated it and I dragged it down, but as you see, let me just zoom in. As you see, it's going under this rectangle we have. So I'm just gonna place it around whatever, and I'm going to press Shift Command open square brackets to bring it front. And if you are on Windows, it's Shift Control and open square brackets just to bring it to front. I'm gonna have faces because this is going to be for faces. Here I'm going to use this tool, which is the pen. It's just used to draw lines, you know, however you want to. I'm gonna have 3 as a border with, we have 5, I think 5 looks, yeah. I'm gonna have a color of white. Great. I'm going to duplicate this. Alright, right now we can have the rectangle where we are going to actually mask our images, and the first default tab selected is going to be faces, so I'm going to grab some faces images. This is the first one. I'm going to have a border of white all the way. I want a border of white all the way. Yeah, should I have 2? Nah, 2. I think 2 looks good. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to, because we have to group the images. So the faces tab will have the faces group images, and we are going to do the same for buildings and sunset. So to group, if you remember, to group is basically Command G on Mac and Control G on Windows. This is what I'm gonna do. I grouped, and if I come over here, I say group 34, just this one. If I move around, it's not selected, but if I click on group, let me just bring it down. Where is it? Come on, where are you? There it is, group. So I'm going to rename it faces group. Faces group. So I'm going to have this centered. Awesome. And what am I going to do? I'm going to replicate. Now I'm just going to have another one. defined the 3 sections that are going to be displayed when each tab is clicked. You know, we can call these labels. We have defined them, but now we need to actually do something that if you don't do this, it's going to mess up with your, it's going to give you hard work, because we need to, let me just, since this will be the default, I'm just going to stack these groups onto one another, and this entire section here, we need to make it a component. When we do the tab, or when we do this the state creation, it's going to help us to manage the state. So I'm going to press Command K, and then if you checked, it has a different indicators, which is kind of green, and here we have component 6. I'm just going to call it tabs. Now what I need to do is just double click tabs. Alright, I'm going to drag all these over to the right side, because if you want your items to slide from the right to left, so you drag them to right so that when you click it slides to right. If you wanted them to slide from left to right, then you just do the opposite, which is dragging here. But I want them to slide from right to left, and I'm going to click in this sunset, and no, I'm going to get in sunset and buildings group. I'm just reduce the opacity of all of them. Sunset, also reduce the opacity so you're not able to see it. Now one thing I like to do is just to make the tab selected stand out a bit. We can actually increase the font size, you know, and we can also just bring it down. Also increase this indicator, because it's really intuitive to let a user know, okay, this is now selected. Maybe, and I can bring this a little bit down. Awesome. So we go to our component, you click on the component tabs, and on the right side you have this default state. So the default state will be the faces tab, which is the default state. Now for us to be able to display another tab within the same state, or within this illustration or design, we need to create another state, which is pretty simple. You click on the plus sign and you add new state. We're gonna call this tab 2. Yeah, tab 2. Now you make sure you have tab 2 selected, so that whatever configuration you're going to make now, it's going to be applied to tab 2. If you have default state selected, then whatever configuration you're going to do, it's only going to be applied to the default state. But we now want to configure the tab 2. So what we do is we want this to slide out, alright, all the way here. We want to increase decrease the opacity. Now we want to come to, this is building. We want to increase the opacity of the buildings, alright, and we want to bring buildings in somewhere here. So the same thing, let me just check. Since this has 36, okay, this has 55, so I'm gonna make this 55. I'm gonna make this 36, because by now tab number 2 is selected, and we want the indicator to be on tab 2. I think, yeah. So that's it. Now we are going to go to the same thing. We click on tabs, we had another state, and we call tab 3. Now make sure you have tab 3 selected, alright, otherwise it's going to configure another tab. And now we want buildings to be slided all the way. We want sunset, we increase the opacity, and we want to be slide all the way to the center here. Now we make this 55. It's a font size. We make this 36, and we take the indicator, we move all the way down, all the way here. Yeah, by now we are done, so we can test and see. We need to animate the states, so we go to prototype. Now we click on this. Now make sure you have tab selected, and then you make sure you have default state selected as well. Now we want the buildings. We click here to edit transition. It's tab. You click to auto animate actually, and you select tab 2 because buildings is going to show the tab 2. You do the same thing and then auto animate as a transition type, and then you go to tab 3. Now you click on tabs again, make sure you have tab 2 selected. Faces, you edit transition, and it is tab, and it's auto animate, and you select default state. For sunset, you do the same thing and you select tab 3. You click tabs, make sure you have state tab 3 selected. You have faces, you add a new animation, and then you say default state selected, and then buildings, you have tab 2 selected. So as I said, we want to have the default state selected, so we run. Let's see how it looks. So this is our final design. As you can see, one thing I forgot, I want to make this to be fixed, so that if I scroll, they fixed, they don't go. So all I have to do is select all of them and come over here, fix position when scrolling. Perfect. Let me bring to the top a little bit. Now if I run, they are fixed. Alright, so let's test. Now we can click on tab number 2, we click on tab number 3, tab number 2, tab number 1, and yeah, there we have our animation, guys. It's pretty intuitive. I mean, you can do this and illustrate it clients how certain products will look like and everything else. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, just know that this is part of a course series, where I'm teaching like a full course on Adobe XD, and I'll leave the course link in the description section below. Please don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out to future tutorials, tips, or anything that comes on the channel. And share the video with friends. See you next time.